Peyton Gendron's defense team is now trying to delay the trial. We know that they didn't want the trial to start when it was supposed to start. So this is all supposed to start in September of this year. The judge has since delayed it to January of next year, but now his defense team is saying, okay, wait a second, we might need to delay this even further because the way things might shake out, the penalty phase of this trial might overlap with the 4th anniversary of the shooting. So they don't want that to happen because they're afraid that Gendron may not get a fair shake in the penalty phase, where they could sentence him to death or life in prison.
So they want things to start on or after June 1st. They want to give the time to move past that 4-year mark. But look, time is of the essence, I think, with something like this. And it's already been a while, and people have been looking for something to be done on the federal level here. And when you're talking about May 14th, obviously that is an unfortunate and really sad milestone for us here. But it was May 14th, June 14th, September 14th. I don't care when it is.
Right.
People are going to be talking about this, and it's going to be something to be discussed. Like pushing it back after June 1st. And I get, they're working for him. They're his lawyers. This is his defense team. They've been doing everything they can to try to get him a fair shake, to try to move things around. They don't want it in Buffalo. They want it in New York City, as though he's going to have, an easier time down there. They don't want it around May 14th. They're doing everything they can to, I guess, try to clear the path somehow, some way.
Pulling out all the punches here. Anita says he does not deserve a fair shake in any way, shape, or form. Mark saying that's BS. Lori, and she's kind of not wrong here. This is costing us money.
Exactly.
Just get it over. Liz, good morning to you. Just get rid of this kid. I can't understand why he's still not sentenced. Ridiculous. So he's sentenced on these state charges, and he's serving life in prison as a result of, as we know, killing 10 black people, hurting 3 others on May 14th. So that was on those state charges. The part about the federal charges that's a little bit different here is that he faces the death penalty, or the possibility of the death penalty.
Right.
And as a result of that, his attorneys trying to delay to really not have to deal with the consequences or the potential consequences.
They want to spare his life. They tried to get the death penalty taken off the table. A judge ruled, it's still on the table. It's still an option. So now they're like, okay, what can we do? Can we move it away from May? Can we move it out of Buffalo? They're doing anything they can to avoid what Della says he deserves.
So the judge in this case has basically said, look, I see right through what you're doing, defense team. So he will not allow this trial to start a year after he initially wanted it to start. So again, he wanted it initially to start in September. They've moved it to January. The judge will not delay this by a year. So knowing that, the defense is now proposing a June start time. So after the anniversary, through the summer, they're saying this could take months.
Right, which is almost the year that they were asking for initially.
Correct.
The judge said no to.
So it'll be interesting to see how the judge rules here. Anita says, give these poor families, friends, and loved ones a break and get this moving and get him, well, I say the electric chair is what she says. Linda, isn't there something about having a speedy trial? Well, yes, but that speedy trial exemption was waived because there is such a massive amount of discovery here. And what that means is that there's so much evidence that the defense needs to go through, that the prosecution has already provided to them. They're saying that there are terabytes of evidence, but the prosecution says, okay, but so much of that is just video evidence, and we know what the video shows. So there's just a whole back and forth here over logistics. Sarah, I love the chit chat, by the way. You guys are all my friends. Thank you, Sarah. We appreciate that and feel the same way. Amy, he has had enough of a free ride so far. An eye for an eye. He deserves death. Sheila, good morning to you. If he was of a different color, it would have been over.
And that's it right there. You know what I mean? And you go back to that day, right? And that's what people are saying then. You know, the fact that he was even able to make it to a trial or to jail or to now prison. Like, it's just, it's frustrating to sit here and to know that there are those family members of these victims who have to live this every single day, who are going to go through the birthdays of their loved one, who are going to go through this upcoming Mother's Day, upcoming Father's Day, Christmases, all of these things, and not have their loved one. And we're sitting here talking about, move the case back. Oh, don't put it around the anniversary of the shooting. That's not fair for him. It's just a big eye roll, I think, for those of us in the community who went through this.
Well, and it's because we all know he's guilty. We all know he did it.
He's pleaded guilty on state charges. He's admitted to doing it. He sat there in that room, and we watched him, face it and sit there, and those family members get to have their day in court next to him and say what they needed to say. But now here we are. Things escalated to the federal level because of what he did and what he chose to do in our community. And now, here we are with the legal system and the legalese. Like, this is what Anita's saying. That part of the legal system sucks. Like, this kind of stuff, like the minutia of, all of it. And of course, we follow it and we want to know what's going on. But these little incremental moves, like, oh, that wouldn't be fair for him.
I mean, is fairness even? I mean, look, I understand the need for a fair trial, but realistically and factually speaking here, he did it. Realistically and factually speaking here, he's admitted to it. Realistically and factually speaking here, we know that if he was not given the possibility of death, this all would have been over with.
It would be done.
He would have pleaded guilty already to the federal charges, and this would have been done.
And to make these family members sit here longer and wait even further, the more that we talk about it, discovery, the case, and things like that, the more we drag this out, it's got to be tougher for them. I can only imagine that the more we have to talk about it and the more that we delay the situation, it just prolongs that pain for people. Like Del was talking about, Celestine Chaney, shot twice in the head. That's something that family members have to think about every single day.